It's the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 129. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to the podcast. We have a Kansas City connection on this week's show as we're talking Golden Gopher football. Yes, we're getting closer and closer to the season. The team held its internal media day this week. The Big Ten football media days are 2 weeks away in Indianapolis, and we're less than 50 days from the start of the season when Minnesota opens against North Carolina on August 29th. We have a Kansas City daily double of guests today, both from KC. Star wide receiver Daniel Jackson will join me first, and then we'll catch a visit with big left tackle Aireontae Ersery and get to know him just a little bit better. You're going to enjoy today's Kansas City connection. Our Go Gopher podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. You can get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Hey, make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. And we have a special announcement. The CEO of True North will be joining me next week on the podcast. Brian Slipka has a new book out. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about his Gopher fandom and a whole bunch more. Really excited about next week's episode. This week, though, we also want to thank Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, also a big sponsor. Life math is complicated, and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union makes it easier with local financial experts available to help in person or virtually. You can go to affinityplus.org/Go Gophers for more info. Again, that's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. We're podcasting episode 129 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We invite you to subscribe to the Go Gopher podcast. It's free to do so. You can also go back and listen to previous Go Gopher podcast. Last week, for example, we had a terrific conversation on Gopher football with the Gopher guru, Daniel House. He gave us an in-depth look at the prospects of the coming season, the expanded Big Ten, players to watch, and a whole bunch more. It's evergreen material, so go back and have a listen if you haven't already. This week, we're talking more Golden Gopher football with Aireontae Ersery and Daniel Jackson. They'll join me next.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
Episode 129, it's the Kansas City connection. Daniel Jackson will bat leadoff. We'll hear from Aireontae Ersery coming up a little bit later. And Daniel, good to see you.
It's good to see you too, man.
Now, technically, I guess you're Kansas City, Kansas.
Technically, if you want to, more so technically, if you want to go off birth certificate, it's Kansas City, Missouri.
No kidding, okay.
But Kansas City, Kansas is where I was mostly raised, I'd say.
Yeah, and of course, Aireontae is Kansas City, Missouri. But you guys obviously have this connection. And
right.
You guys, I think, met officially on the recruiting trip here, right? The official?
Yeah. When my official was kind of when I was really kind of able to really talk with Tay. And I remember for him, it was his first time flying. So I know he was a little, I remember seeing him on the flight, and I was like, yeah, he looks freaked out. But yeah, that was my really first time really kind of like getting to meet with him and talk with him. So it was kind of cool knowing we was both from Kansas City.
Yeah, that's outstanding. How you feeling now? I know you sat out much of the spring, getting healthy with everything. You feeling good?
I feel really elite right now. I'm feeling good, being back with the team, doing everything. I feel elite, man. Bodies feels like I'm a little younger. So yeah.
Yeah, you were all Big Ten last year, 59 catches amongst the leaders in the league, 831 yards, 5 touchdowns. And I asked how you're feeling. It was mentioned you missed a little of the spring, and you can go into as much detail or as little as you want, but you were playing a little bit banged up through much of that year where you made all Big Ten.
Yeah. So like coming off of Michigan week, I think that was maybe like week 6, and then going into Illinois, I kind of had got a little banged up in practice, and I had rocked a little contraption on my ankle, a little air cast, and then just kind of dealing with that. I want to say it kind of like really tipped me from doing anything, but obviously something I kind of had to battle or deal with kind of leading up into the last season, and that kind of like prohibited me from doing more so things after post season. So, but now I'm back and healthy, so everything's good and on the up. So yeah.
When you go through a spring where you're not necessarily taking part in physical reps, and I don't know how limited you were in weight room or whatever, how do you otherwise then make up for some of that and continue to grow? I mean, you got experience. I don't think the coach is like, hey, Daniel knows what he's doing.
Right. It was kind of one of those, like, they see kind of like where I'm at, and then they don't want to risk, further stuff, because they know like I'm probably best when I'm in the fall, and that's when they like kind of the team needs me most. And but yeah, going through that, they didn't want to kind of rush me or do anything like that. But yeah, the spring, it was kind of tough just watching my boys get out there, especially with a new quarterback coming in with Max and not being able to get those reps as I would probably want to, but still being able to catch balls as I'm standing and not having to move basically. But that's kind of also doing what you can to make the most out of it. Because I was lifting and kind of getting bigger. I probably got upper body wise bigger, I would say.
Yeah, and we hear this term mental reps. Did
mental
you
reps.
Do some mental reps?
Yeah, mental reps literally every rep. So yeah, you'll probably run the same play 3 times, but continuously telling yourself what's the coverage, questioning yourself, asking yourself what's the defensive front, all types of stuff that can just help you in a mental game. This
time of year, now that you're back to feeling really good, how important is it now in the next few months next few weeks now before fall camp starts? But the season's not too far away. As we talk on this Thursday, it's I think 45 days. I think I saw something today. Is the season opener against North Carolina? So it's a month and a half basically. Right. What's your hope now between now and kickoff?
Well, right now summer is like the whole summer really building up, but the whole summer is like really the most important time. Is going into is really a lot of player led for a lot of teams, and it's where you kind of going into, you're mainly getting in your peak conditioning to go into training camp. So this is really an important time for us to be able to get those player practices, those team chemistries in, really get a lot of our offense in and on our little nooks and nannies. But yeah, this is kind of like the most important time, and being able to get those reps and being able to be in shape and really prove to yourself kind of what I'm looking forward to in this upcoming few months is kind of what you're telling yourself.
What's a typical week in July like then for a Gopher football player?
So a typical week in July, Mondays is more so, we'll probably be more so with our coaches, but Mondays is a little bit of, it's intro to the week, so it's a speed day, and then we lift and run every day besides Wednesdays, but yeah, it's a speed day, go in, lift. We also got, we'll do some indie with our coaches, and then we'll maybe do a little special teams, and then after that we'll call it a day after the lift. And after the lift was always the last thing we do. And then I say Tuesdays, we go every other Tuesdays are more so our conditioning day. We'll run, we'll hit our 55s, man. But yeah, we'll be
real fun day. It sounds like
real fun day. We'll be moving out there in the heat or whatever it is. But yeah, 55s, then we'll have a lift, and then it's a player practice. Tuesdays, I love Tuesdays because we get to go at each other. We'll get to compete a little bit, do some 7-on-7, and then Wednesdays is a nice recovery day, get our bodies back, and then Thursday, speed, meet, and lift, and then Friday is end the week with a nice little player practice again, compete a little bit, and then refresh
on the weekend. And you got your degree in the spring. Mm-hmm. Are you taking any summer class? Probably not.
No, I'm not taking any summer classes right now. I'm this is kind of like the first time I really am able to. I'm able to be more around the facility a lot more now that my schedule's opened up. So I love how my schedule is right now. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, I bet that's what we all dream about, right? Mm-hmm. The question I'm sure everyone asks you now is, tell us about the new quarterback. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the success of this team this fall will certainly fall on Max Brosmer's shoulders, the New Hampshire transfer. So what can you tell us about him?
I love Max, man. Max came in and he became a brother right away. He became a leader right away. And I think that's kind of hard to do, especially becoming a transfer and knowing kind of like we've seen our quarterback transfer, so there's really not necessarily a starting quarterback here at the time, and like knowing that and kind of coming in and being able to take that role and with the high expectation also set on him I think he did a phenomenal job. So, but yeah, also Max, my brother, you know what I'm saying, we stay in the same apartment, but just hanging around outside of the facility and within the facility, you know what I'm saying, we keep each other on our toes, and I love that.
I'm sure the coaching staff wants to keep what you guys want to do offensively a little bit
under wraps.
Right.
So I asked this with a little bit of a guard up. What are some of his strengths? What will fans kind of see from him that you've seen here this summer?
All right, he's a real deal general. Obviously, like before the play even gets snapped, you'll see him diagnosing everything. You'll see his eyes. He's scanning everything. He's really smart before the snap, but post snap, during the play, during the live stuff. So you're gonna see just smart football. In my opinion, you're gonna see smart football. You're gonna see, preconceived understanding what the defense is just trying to accomplish, and you're just gonna see very, very smart football, best way to put it.
Yeah, and he hosted some of you guys for a summer getaway, although there was work involved as well as some fun, it sounds like, in Georgia, and I think you guys even got into South Carolina for some stuff.
Yep.
I know you had to stick around to get your diploma, which was awesome, and then you joined the group. How was that trip? What did you guys accomplish?
Yeah, so I came there down to Atlanta right after graduation, and first day they were coming from the lake. So first day, I'm pretty sure first day was a workout. We had lift, and then we had it was a little light day, get our legs get going and everything, and it was nice, man. It was about, I would say, 15 of us, 12 of us, and it was just bonding, man. It was just bonding, connecting here and there, and just real deal getting work done. So I think it was very great to what we got going on now, and it was also fun too. I think Max did a great job of hosting everyone at his house and like the events we did. I think it was something I've never really had be a part of, and I think it's going to do numbers. I think that's going to go a long way, actually.
Yeah, those kind of things are important, right? When you're trying to elevate the level of play, you've got this talent pool, and now in order to become a winning team,
right,
you got to elevate beyond what your talent maybe is capable, and maybe chemistry is a way to do that.
Finding any way you can elevate, and I think chemistry is definitely a huge answer to elevating your team's experience, because football is one of the best, and it is the most team organized game, and if one out of 11 people aren't doing their job, then it can be a bust. So I think us bonding as a whole offensive unit it was really good for us, and I'm pretty sure he did something with the O-line too. I know that was like a skill players kind of trip, but he definitely did something with the O-line too. So.
Yeah. Well, and the other question then, from a receivers group now, of course you're the leader of this group with your stats from a year ago, and as a senior, which I'll ask you a little later. I can't believe you're already a senior. How time flies. And man, the list is long now. You think of Lemecki and Elijah; those are the guys that played some last year. You've got freshmen, you've got redshirt freshmen, you've got some transfers. It's a long list. I've also noticed that if you look at some of these magazines and they rank the positions in this, the Gopher receiver group isn't on the outside.
Yeah.
You love this group, though, I take.
Yeah, I love this group, man. It's the best group we've had. The talent we have is really deep. I can count on I can't count on my hand of how many receivers can go in the game. We have that many that can go in and make plays and execute our offense at an elite level. So this is something very exciting. I know Max is very excited. I know Coach Harbaugh and Coach Simon and Coach Fleck is very excited about this group that we have together. And I am, like I said, you said, I am the leader of the group, but we also have two other great leaders, Lemecki and Spencer. I know this is last year for him as well. Mecki has one more year, so he'll kind of be getting the ropes. The crown took him to him. But us three, I mean, this is going to be an extremely, extremely fun year for us three, and really our whole offense. I know we got Christian Driver, we got new K's, TJ McWilliams, we got new receiver coming in, new receiver Tyler Williams, and like we're very deep in our. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, and last year there were times maybe where the passing game sputtered a little bit for various reasons. What do you think will be the key cog that you see more of the good stuff, so to speak, in the passing game?
I think from my position, just doing our job and making our easiest plays. Obviously there's stuff that happens within games, like drops and MAs may happen, but just doing your best to do your job, and a receiver's job is to get open, catch the ball, and doing that at an elite level is something that, like I said, we have a lot of guys who can do. So it's gonna be exciting, and knowing and seeing how the ball's gonna get shared around, and knowing that we all can make plays is just something that's gonna be more so probably different than last year. We
are recording the podcast here on this Thursday in the Bierman building by the Land O'Lakes Learning Center. Out in the hallway, there's a picture of you with your toe tap catch. It's a great picture, right? The Nebraska hockey game. In fact, that you were on this podcast the following week.
Right.
I remember you sitting in that same chair, and that's when I learned that that's an actual skill where you raise that lead foot, and that became kind of a story, right? That you guys had done drills on that, and you got it in. How often are you still reminded of that play? Do people still say, "Hey, you're the dude that caught that amazing catch"?
Yeah, it's funny you ask. We got guys on the team who like to troll a little bit, especially in the room. They'll toe tap Jack. They'll scream that out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, there's people who still talk about the catch, and there's people who sometimes will actually repost the catch a little bit. But personally, what I'm saying, that's last year, and I gotta not about like the clip itself, but the whole year, and definitely just trying to lap that and do better in that as a whole, or eclipse that, better said. But yeah, I mean, it was still a great, and it will forever be a great moment for me and for anybody that probably was able to witness or be there. So.
Are we still selling T-shirts with the toe tap?
Oh, yeah. The T-shirts are always going to be still in demand. Dinkytown athletes, shout out to you guys continually, providing for us. And, Gopher fans, go ahead and continually get that gear, and more so coming this year. So
yeah, more coming. That toe tap T-shirt's pretty cool, too, with that picture. Coming up later in the podcast, we're going to have, as we mentioned, the KC connection here with the Aireontae Ersery coming up. We mentioned a little bit at the start that you guys first met on, in a meaningful way at the airport on your official up here. Have you guys now kind of bonded through the connection, whether it be just common experiences, some mutual friends over the years in your time here in Minneapolis? Yeah,
one of the first things, like you said, mutual friends. One of the first things I kind of noticed that we have a mutual friend from this guy, one of his best friends actually, his best friend at Ruskin. He ended up transferring to my school, Bishop Miege, and he played football with us. But I didn't know this at the time until I showed him a video of one of my friends, because then we we got the same friend. It was kind of funny, but. Yeah, I kind of first got to know him more a little bit through that kind of incident, but really just being up here with him. I mean, I've seen that obviously us being from Kansas City, it kind of goes unspoken that of course like we look out for each other. You're my brother for sure. But even then, more so getting to know him and talk with him, he's for sure like that's my brother. I'll be his friend for life, and he got my back and I got his back. So that's my dog.
Yeah, and you guys, not just you two, but you guys as a team. I'm talking the 100 guys or so on the roster. It really does. I don't think people understand some of the grind that you guys go through all summer. You guys are grinding it out, practicing to play these 13 Saturdays. It really does become kind of a family, and friends that will, when you guys are 60, you'll be talking about the toe tap, or you'll be talking about the Kessich field goal,
right?
Winning Paul Bunyan's axe, or winning Floyd Rosedale.
Exactly. That's the stuff that's remembered. You won't like people say you won't remember the scores to the games. You'll remember the moments, and you'll remember a water ball or a water fight that y'all had at practice or something like that, or over or a game over a score of a big time game or something like that. But yeah, the moments and memories is definitely what's created within the bonding of a football team. And like you said, 13 or 12 really guaranteed Saturdays is what our guys are promised, and it's insane to think that you guys work pretty much 200 of those, 200 some of those days just for 12 Saturdays. So it's lovely, but it's also a grind, and it's what makes it itself. So
yeah, and when you think about it, you got 100 guys. I mean, I have one brother in my family. I of course have best friends and those things too. But you got a group like this, and you're competitive, and sometimes you think of the ups and downs, and someone might get on your nerves, and then the next week they're your best friend.
Yeah,
it's what a life lesson
right
through these years.
Yeah, like I said, football definitely is the best life lesson as well. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Most of the stuff that stays on the field. If you get into it on the field, stay on the field. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we have a really good locker room, and that's what I really enjoy about this team is all of our guys like each other, all of the coaches like each other. You know what I'm saying? We're a real tight-knit group as a whole, so I think that goes a long way as well.
Well, it seems like yesterday we talked about, Daniel Jackson's a promising freshman. He had a really good freshman year, and here you are now ready for your senior year. How? And I've over the years have asked this a lot. I will say this: as I get older, it seems to go faster. So I'm obviously way older than you, but as at times does it feel like things just flowing by?
Yeah, time's flowing by, man. I remember freshman year it being COVID, and then looking up and not having any fans in the stands, and then me feeling like like me just being young, and it's crazy as the more you go, like the sophomore and junior years are so in between, and those like really what stands out is the freshman and senior years. Obviously, it's the the ends, but those middle years is really kind of like where you're kind of like in the mix. Like, am I getting old? Am I still young? So it's like, and then it's like out of nowhere, it's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely old. Like I can't be young anymore. So
right.
It's definitely a wild thing, and it goes by fast, and you'll miss it. Obviously, everyone's gonna miss their college days, and but. You know what I'm saying? You have them and you enjoy them while you have them. So
yeah, absolutely. And you, at the end of last year, there was discussion. You could have potentially, at that point, you had your degree, could have tried the NFL draft. Maybe, with the transfer portal, who knows? What brought you back?
Obviously my brothers. I definitely think there was unfinished business personally and team wise. No one wants to go off on a 5-7 record or 6-7 record, but. There was unfinished business, and being with my brothers, obviously hearing and seeing that Ethan had left, but knowing that we got Max coming in and knowing this, it's just really exciting to be able to live in this moment one more time, because once you step out, there's a totally different ball game, so you make the most of it, and I feel like there's still more to be made, so.
Yeah, and second team All Big Ten last year, so chance to continue. You're one of the top returners in the Big Ten. We mentioned a couple of times now your degree. How proud of yourself are you for that accomplishment? Now, getting the summer off a little bit from class, you'll have to take something, I suppose, this fall just to make sure. But to get a college degree in the 4 years, and
yeah, I'm extremely proud. That was always a goal of mine, to go ahead and get my degree. Of course, with my parents as well, and to be able to go and do that is extremely proud, because that's going to obviously stay with me forever. And with the major I just chose to pick youth studies. I really enjoy being around youth, speaking with kids, training kids, teaching kids, however it may be. But kind of going off that, I don't know if many people have seen, but there's a camp I'm hosting for youth July 20th back in Kansas City. So I'm pretty sure we got the news coming out back there. It's about 61 kids going to be there. So that's going to be my first camp. I'll probably start doing something annually. I'm thinking about doing something like that. But that's going to be my first camp, 61 kids, and it's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited to do that, and I'm happy I was able to, do that. And I think my youth studies background kind of goes well with that.
Yeah, for sure. With youth studies, and what do you think long term? Hopefully it's a good, productive NFL career after a really good senior year here. With youth studies, how do you want to impact?
Yeah, long term wise, this is kind of like almost like an introduction to it. Now that I think about it, but obviously, I like long term wise, with my major youth studies, I still want to be around children. Like, as in, I'll probably take it more to a more sports specific route and train the kids for like really being at this next level and being more direct and in tune with said players. And I think being able to do that, gather my own facility, gather my own resources, staff and whatnot, and being able to truly benefit children and train them to become their best athletic selves, and regardless of the sport they're in, and regardless of the gender they are. So being able to do that, I think that's probably a big goal of mine.
Man, so. What a great objective to try to strive for sure. Mm-hmm. What's it going to be like as a guy who likes video games to be able to play the Gopher game and throw to yourself? It's gonna be the joy, whatever you call it, controller.
Yeah, it's gonna be surreal, man. It's gonna be crazy. Like, it's hard to put it into words how because like you speak, like you think about it, like and then you hear the talk about it like years ago about the NCAA coming out. It's like I'll probably be out of college, but then now it's real. It's like a week away, so it's really exciting. Like, I'm smiling thinking about it, and I'm just gonna be I'm definitely throwing myself the ball like almost every play. I can't give myself every catch. But I'm gonna share the love, but I'm also gonna be eating definitely with my guy, and I'm running behind Aireontae Ersery with the 93 overall.
93 rating. So now, and I'm not a gamer, so I don't know a lot about this. I've heard of Madden. I've played it occasionally. I'm no good, so I just decided I'm not gonna strive to get better in that. I'll focus elsewhere. But that said, so a 93 ranking. Does everyone? What do you have a ranking as well?
I think Aireontae is a top 25 player in the game. I think he's the 19th highest rated player in the game, or 24th, one of the two. But I'm not quite sure. I mean, if I had to guess, I'd probably say anywhere between an 85 and maybe a 90. Anywhere between that range is most likely what I'm probably going to be seeing, but which I'm fine with. I mean, and I think they may be doing changes like during the season, so where like if you're doing really well, it may boost you a little bit. So who knows? Yeah. But yeah. It's exciting to see. I mean, regardless of it, I mean, I'm gonna make myself a guy 99. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and then, you run a play or two, and all of a sudden you diagram something up on the video game. Can you bring it into Coach Harbaugh and say, "Listen,
I'll definitely go do that."
This thing worked last night.
I'm saying, Harbaugh, last night, man, you just called up this play. It was really you, man. They said Greg Harbaugh on the intercom when I scored it. So, but it's gonna be interesting. Like I'm out, those like kids all the time, like they play those little scenarios through their head, and it's like I wonder what it's actually gonna look like. So we'll see.
It'll be fun.
It'll definitely be stories to tell. So
well, hey, we appreciate you spending some time with us. Like you said, we're just about 2 weeks from Big Ten Football Media Day, 2.5, 3 weeks from fall camp opening, and less than 50 days from the start of the season. So
yes, sir.
That Thursday night with North Carolina, we'll look forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Good
Man,
to
I
see
can't
you.
wait.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
He's Daniel Jackson. It's episode 129, and we have Aireontae Ersery soon. More Gopher football talk in a moment. First, let's talk about Affinity Plus. It's your local credit union proudly serving Minnesota since 1930. If you're a current Gopher student or a proud Gopher alum, you are eligible to join a financial that wants to build a meaningful banking relationship and put you first. You can meet with a local employee at any of their branches statewide, including one right here near campus on University in Minneapolis. To learn more and find other ways to connect, here's the address. Go to affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. People-centered banking, perfect for Gophers. Episode number 129 rolls along, and we're going to talk with the big guy up front, the left tackle, first team All Big Ten last year, Aireontae Ersery, Kansas City, Missouri. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. You guys just, as we talk here on this Thursday, you guys just finished some workouts. How's it going? I mean, how's the summer treating you guys?
I just feel like every year, the athletes get better, so they adjust as we go on, but it's definitely, a good workout. And me being the older guy, leading the younger guys on and kind of leading the way, you know what I'm saying? So it's really good. It's going good right now.
Yeah, and as you now are that leader, you're the guy that people are pointing to as one, a chance to, be a high draft pick, a chance to be an All-American, another All-Big Ten honor, all that stuff.
Yeah.
How much of that do you pay attention to? And then how much, as you say, that other stuff where you've got freshmen now that have enrolled in either January or June that you're trying to bring along, or even sophomores who might be future starters here to help, you look to the future, your own self, but also within the program helping the future?
Yeah, I would say for me is just controlling what I can control and just focusing on it now. I know all that stuff is really good stuff, but as a team, we want to go out there and win at the end of the day. And I'm a super competitive person. So whatever it is, as a leader that I need to do, I'm going to step up and do.
Yeah.
And as for the young guys, just try to be that vessel, that older vessel. And, if they have any type of questions, I kind of try to answer them as best as I can, and just try to be a good role model, because I feel like, college football now is changing. The landscape is changing with all these different players. It's just try to get close to your teammates as possible. So yeah, I'm big on bond and stuff like that in family.
Yeah, you think about the landscape since you were a freshman to now. It's totally different. I mean, the whole thing has changed, right?
Yeah, it's totally changed, bro. Like, it's crazy. Now you got the NIL and people transferring for this or that. You just never know. You don't know the motive. You know what I'm saying? So. But yeah.
Yeah, and I'll ask you about that because you had such a good year last year. You had a good year the year before that. Mm-hmm. You had some options when your season was over, when the school year was over. You could have probably entered the draft and been a pick. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there were some folks ringing your phone saying, hey, come play for us. We've got big NIL deal. Mm-hmm. What was how serious did you give some of that consideration? How much thought went into it, and what ultimately led you to say, no, I'm going to stick here with the maroon and gold and go one more year here?
I think it was really just my teammates. You got guys like Coop, Quinn, you got guys like Martez, Phillip, like the young guys. They really made made that decision easy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all coming back, O-line reloading. Why would I transfer to another school? Like, I'm loyal to the soil, so my heart lays here in Minnesota for sure.
Yeah, and you're 5 within the program, so these are some of the.
Yeah.
I mean, these will be friends for life.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah,
is it hard to and look, sometimes the situation is such that it might be a deal you can't turn down. But if all things are equal, you want to go to war one more time with these guys that have become family, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
I was just finna say it's like a feeling you just can't replace, like just playing with the guys. Even let's go all the way back to January, like doing workouts, these hard workouts or whatever the case may be, but like just going through it with each other, like, and building that bond, building that connection, playing as one heartbeat, like that's what it's really about.
And you mentioned that much of this offensive line is back. Nathan Bowe, who was a starter last year, you'll have Greg Johnson likely starting at center. He got some time, some reps, a start last year. So how good can this group be, do you think?
Man, I think this group can be really good, if we just focus on the main things and just keep attacking every day, chipping at the wood. But I feel like we progressing every day, taking the coaching from Coach Cal, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the season and see what we can really do.
So you come back, you're staying in Minnesota, you made that decision, fall is just about here. Are there things personally then, one, as you mentioned, you want to be here where your feet are and have a really good season, but then there's also maybe that view like, okay, I can be a first-round pick potentially. I can be a day one pick. Are there things that folks have told you like, hey, in your senior year, if you hit a benchmark or improve in this area, that's what it's going to take? And if so, what are some of those things that you're working on personally to take that step?
I try to eliminate as much noise as possible because it's not really good for your brain. But I can say that I have some of the best coaches in the world, Coach Fleck, Coach Cal, Coach Simon, all those guys have been in the game for a while. So I just try to listen to Coach Cal as best as I can. And he's very well connected and tapped into the NFL and stuff like that. So whatever he gives me, I kind of just absorb it and use it as a sponge and try to apply it to the field every day.
Yeah, and he's got Brian Callahan, we're talking about assistant coach, offensive line coach, your position coach. He's put some guys certainly into the NFL, and you see each year progress made within the program. You, for example, each year have gotten a little better. What's your relationship like with him? I watch some practices, and you guys sometimes I think he's like, I'm making you better, and sometimes you'll snap back, and then but you get better, right?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, just getting better. At the end of the day, being coachable, going out there with the mentality of attacking it every day like a pro. And me and his relationship has grown over the years. I can say, being a good player comes with, great responsibility. So being Coach Hart, I'm all for it. I know once I get to the, next level, wherever I go, I'm probably not going to have that. So just being able to take that from him and have that mentality every day, because at the next level, it's more so of a job, Yeah. So, just our relationship is crucial, and I love that for us. I love our relationship.
Yeah, and it looks like he has that relationship, and as a positional group, I think of all the positions on a football team, whether it's the Gophers or other teams, at O-line, they always seem to be dudes that'll hang out together, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we always hang out on and off the field, go to cabins, whatever it is, the lake. Hang out at the crib. But we all always hang out, get around each other for sure.
When you said that, it reminded me, we had Bo on last year, and he talked about his mom hosting the Thanksgiving and the Easters. Did you ever make it out to one of those?
I did.
Yeah.
Did he mention that? Yeah. Oh, his mom is a chef, man. She can really cook, man. I try to go every year and get the biggest plate, and he laugh at me every time. Yeah. But the food is delicious, bro. His mom really takes her time on the food. She really care. It's a big thing for his family.
She was telling us, Justin Gardner, I saw her in one of the road trips, Amanda, she was telling us that after the first year, they just had regular chairs, and I don't know, somebody sat on one and it broke. So she ended up having, now the last few years, she'll go to church, and then she'll load up the minivan or the van with the reinforced chairs for you guys.
It's definitely been a few chairs broken, a few couch broken in, few plates dropped and broken. But yeah, it's all good time for sure. Being around him, man. Like I said, he was one of my former teammates, and being around his mom and stuff like that is pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's all part of that offensive line, family for sure. Yeah. Outside of the offensive line, as we looked to the 2024 season, a lot of focus certainly here in the offseason has been put on the quarterback position. New starter this year, Max Brosmer, comes in from New Hampshire, was an All-American there, Walter Payton Trophy finalist, all that stuff. So what can you tell us about him? I know PJ's probably like, don't let out too much, but give us a little hint on what you see from your new starting quarterback.
Man, the first thing off the bat, you can just tell he's a competitor, which I love. He attacks the game like a quarterback should, controlling the offensive line and stuff like that, and just making sure that he's doing his job and we're doing our job at a high level. So that was like one of the first things, because I'm a super competitive guy, so just being around him just gets me going, and whenever we break the huddle, like, it's just a feeling, you can't replace, like, just having a quarterback like that.
How much here in the summer do you get to do much with them? I know I think they do a lot of 7-on-7 where it's receivers, and quarterbacks and maybe some running backs. The line maybe sometimes get left out of that 7-on-7, but are you able to do some stuff just to see it as a group? Yeah,
for sure. We definitely do. And usually when we break from Indy, we try to come together as a team and run it through a few plays and stuff like that, and just keep building every day. Just keep building.
Yeah. All right. So the running back group is a strong group. I think that's been heralded as a good group. We know what Darius Taylor brings when he was healthy last year. What's it like blocking for a guy like that?
Man, as soon as I block my guy, if I don't smash him and put him in the ground, I try to look up, because it's like a movie, man. I get front row tickets. Like, just being on the field with him, you don't know what he's going to do. He might run somebody over. He might juke him. You just never know. Like, the kid is talented. You can't take that away from him, for sure.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty good work ethic, it sounds like. He's got such a cool background. There was a story this week in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Randy Johnson wrote it about, some of the hurdles he's had to overcome in life. And I don't think a lot of people knew of that. And they're, when you got a team of 100, so many stories, so many guys have stories to tell, whether it's at one end of the spectrum or the other. And I'm sure that is all part of what kind of melds a team together. So how much of that motivates you to help a teammate like that? Like, okay, this kid, he deserves my best shot here to make him a good player.
Yeah, I know that his mission is to go to the next level. I feel like that's all of our goals, is to play at the next level. So, like, this a guy who comes in every day, who's committed, who works his butt off, and when he go to the field, it shows. And I love blocking for that, like a running back like that, that has that mindset of who want to go to the next level, because I have that same mindset as well. So he just attacks everything like a pro like me. So yeah.
So if you're the left tackle for the Golden Gophers, there's going to be some run blocking, right? That's that's the way it is. Sure. Do you enjoy run blocking more than pass blocking?
I like to do both, but like run blocking is more so just taking your opponent's will, and just like every block is, you just keep pounding them and keep. I get excited thinking about it. Like, bro, it's definitely a feeling like you just can't replace, and just smashing the guy over and over and over again. Like, for sure, yeah.
And now there's some depth in that room as well. Who are some guys after Darius? And because I think there's probably a thought too that I don't know if the days of a guy getting 40 carries in a game, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's done it before, but maybe there's more sharing of the football. So who else in that room do you think is going to see some time and contribute here?
For sure, I would say CA. I would say Jordan Newton. Like, both of those guys have really propelled and really grown into a whole different player. And this is exciting to see on the film, too, when we're sitting in the O-line room and watching the running backs. It's practice. We chasing perfection. So it's not always going to be perfect, but for sure, those guys are super talented. Those are two guys that come to mind when you ask me that.
Wide receiver Daniel Jackson, he was on this podcast as well, and you guys have that Kansas City connection. Did you know each other before you got here, or was it through the recruiting process maybe? How did you guys?
Actually, one of my best friends now today went to the same school that he went to. Then he ended up going to my high school. So, like, I was playing with him, and but I heard him through the grapevine, and, like, his school won all these state championships and stuff like that. I heard he was a heck of a player. So it was just exciting to have another guy from Kansas City. And actually, like, when we came on our official, we met up at the airport at the same time. So it was crazy, man, how it all, like, worked out. And I was able to see him and meet his mom and his beautiful family and stuff like that. And we just hit it off, man. Day one, for sure. It was locked in.
And you got, I'm sure, some shared interest and shared background, right? I mean, I don't know whether you guys are Chiefs fans or Royals fans or what have you, that you can share some stories there.
Yeah, I'm a big Chiefs fan. He's a big Chiefs fan, but as far as the Royals, I don't really know. I don't really pay attention to them.
You're not a hardball guy.
Yeah, I'm not really a baseball guy. I'm more so with football for sure.
Well, the Chiefs have made your life happy then.
They made my life
what a run they've got
super happy. Like, just watching them at home, like at the crib, like just watching them on TV winning that Super Bowl and being able to go out there and win against the 49ers, right? Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
You got bragging rights for another year for sure. All right, so we got to get into some other cool stuff here. EA Sports College Football 25 is coming out.
Yeah.
I am not a big video game guy. I remember Madden back in the day. You guys are paying attention to this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you got a great rating, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Explain it, because I'm not fully familiar with the game and what the ratings mean.
I wasn't really too sure of, like, what was going on. All I know is they sent me a link, to have my name on it. And they wanted me to post it and kind of get the word out that I was going to be in the game and stuff like that. But I didn't think that, the rating was going to be high. Like, actually, when I was on the podcast with Dragon and Anthony Smith, I was just playing around. But I've always been a good guesser, though. So I was like, maybe like a 93, 94. I'll be good with that. And it came out and...
You were, a 93?
Yeah.
And that's a
pretty
top
cool.
Big Ten lineman, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
Pretty cool, man.
Now, but is it kind of cool, though? Do you play video? Are you a video gamer?
I play Madden all the time. That's probably like my most played game on my Xbox for sure. Either that or Call of Duty.
So when this game comes out, you'll be playing.
Oh man, what?
I mean, I can't imagine what that'd be like playing. And now you're really in there.
It's crazy,
you're in the game.
Bro, like, it's crazy. Yeah. It's
a 93.
Man. Yeah.
Well, I know who your starting left tackle will be, because you can build teams, right?
Yeah, you can build ultimate teams. Or you could
just play as the Gophers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Go out and crush some people on the screen, and then on Saturday go out and crush them for real.
Yeah.
So if you're not playing video games, what else do you do for enjoyment, or to get away? Because everyone, right? You got to get away from football for a minute or two a week, I would think, just to refresh yourself.
Yeah. I talk to my family a lot, like my mom, my brother, my sister, my dad. I like to draw. I'm a big artsy guy. I like to draw. I got paint and stuff like that. I'm getting into painting right now. And if I'm not playing a video game, I'm probably listening to music or just chilling or watching something on YouTube or something like that.
So if you put up on your phone just a shuffle of songs, what kind of music would we be hearing?
You got a little bit of country in there. My O-line buddies put me on with that. Definitely R&B, hip-hop, a little bit of jazz. I wouldn't say rock for sure. No. That's like...
You're out on the rock.
Yeah, I'm
no
out
Guns
on
N'
the
Roses
rock.
or AC/DC for you. See. You and I wouldn't get along musically.
Like, I don't get it, bro. Like, oh no, man. Rock is different. It's different.
So what's your A1 right now? If I said, hey, you can listen to one song here before we head out, what song would you pop on?
That's a good question. Probably some Jay-Z or something like that.
Yeah. Classic.
Something like slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my mind.
Chill a little bit.
Before I go out there and, smash people.
Pound some people.
Yeah.
Last line here. Your recruiting process, take us through that. It was really day one. I remember being at the signing day deal, and PJ was like already talking big about your potential and where you were headed. And I think his comment was something like, if we build his confidence, he's going to be a stud. Mm-hmm. And as it turned out, that was true. So take us through the process, how you decided on Minnesota, and how your growth
like from
has
the
been.
beginning.
Well, you don't have we don't have to go 20 minutes, but you give me the Cliff Notes version of how it all worked and why you ultimately chose Minnesota.
I just remember being at a camp, and it was super hot that day, like super duper duper hot. We kind of did like a quick dynamic stretch before we got going, and we did like our testing, like our 5, 10, our 40-yard dash, and our jump and stuff like that. But I just remember like I have to go, like, you know, this is like do or die for me, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't heavily recruited out of high school, and like I had, you know, options to go to different places and stuff like that, and people were telling me like, why you want to go to a different high school? Like, come to our high school. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, nah, I'm good. Because I'm like I told you, I'm loyal to the soil. So, you know, Coach Perkins, you know, he really saw something in me, and he took a chance on me and told me to come out and play for his team. He started me right away, and that was like my sophomore year of high school. And fast forward, I met Coach Fleck. I met his kids. I met Coach Cal, and I met another coach as well. And I kind of just, you know, asked me like brief questions and stuff like that. Met Coach Fleck family, and it was just pretty cool to see like a guy like that just off the rip, like showing how much, you know, he cared for me, and how you know, how he wanted me to come to the school and stuff like that. So, you know, when I finally got here on my official, it was beautiful. It was a summertime. You know, you got the lakes, the boats and stuff like that. So it was super, super, super dope to see, and just the school history as well. You know, and I knew that it was guys here. You know, I knew that the O-line really got a lot of love and stuff like that. So it was very exciting to see that the O-line get a little bit of light, because, you know, we're usually not the guys who really want the light. But, yeah, and I also seen that, you know, Minnesota just takes pride on the O-line. Like, they really care about that type of stuff. But I can say from day one, like, Coach Fleck was the same guy that he is right now, you know. And I always commend him for, like, just always talking highly of me and stuff like that. Like, I love that about him. Like, and even as our, you know, personal relationship, like, he's just a super dope coach. Like, just to have another figure in my life, a positive influence and stuff like that. So, man, we here now, you know.
Here we are. The rest is history,
The
right?
rest is history.
And more history to be made.
More history to be made. We just getting started, man.
Very good. Hey, always great to chat with you. Appreciate getting to know you a little better. I know Gopher fans will enjoy hearing this.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Thank you for having me, man.
You got it. Aireontae Ersery, episode 129. My thanks to Aireontae Ersery and also to Daniel Jackson. I hope you enjoyed hearing from those two guys as much as I enjoyed chatting with them. Quite impressive young men, and it's a pleasure to catch up with each. Episode 129 is presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. And a reminder, we have CEO Brian Slipka on our podcast next week to talk about his new book and his Gopher fandom. We're also partnered with Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, a locally member-owned full-service financial invested in you. You can learn more at affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please right now be sure to click the subscribe button. It's free to subscribe and free to listen to the Go Gopher podcast at any time. And please share the link to the podcast with others so they can listen and subscribe as well. And if you enjoyed the podcast, please offer some positive feedback. We'll talk again next week.